When communicating with another person goes bad, do you pause to consider the person's past? Do you take a moment to see how what you know of their past can help you interpret their current intentions? Or do you just take how you feel and think in that moment in response to the current situation and use that to form the narrative of how you interpret the words and actions of the other person? Hello, my friends. Jeffrey Schau here from Grow to Your Potential. Over the past several weeks, we've been exploring the role of intentions and motivation in how we go about improving our ability to communicate, to understand, and be understood. Ideally, when communication goes bad, we have the time and ability to explore intentions, seek out clarity, and truly understand what's driving the other person and our reaction. Unfortunately, we don't always have this luxury. Consider a scenario where you're sent an email by a colleague that contains some pretty strong criticisms of the project you're working on. You're deeply hurt or offended by what you read, and you reach out to your colleague to try to understand, where is this coming from? Unfortunately, your colleague has gone on holiday and is unreachable for another 2 weeks. And the project you're working on is due in 3 days. So what do? How do you interpret their criticism? Are they trying to sabotage your work, or have they picked up on a critical flaw that you need to address? When you can't test your assumptions, what do you do? When it comes to navigating tough situations with others, whether we have the opportunity to test our assumptions or not, I have often found a great approach to take is to separate yourself from the current situation, allowing logic rather than emotions to rule the day. How do we do this? How do we separate ourselves from the current situation? Well, we look to the past. We look back and remind ourselves what we know about the other person. Is the other person known for sabotaging the work of others? Are they known for helping people out who are in a jam? Do their ideas normally come back to haunt them or help them and others succeed? As we explore what we know, we can do so from a couple of perspectives. We can do this looking for evidence to support a narrative that justifies our current emotions and desires. Or we can do so with an openness to being wrong. If you want truth, the latter is the approach that you want to take. After all, we're seeking the answer to the question, what do we truly know about the other person that might help us understand their intentions in this current situation? We find the answers to this question when we explore the past with an openness to the truth. And this involves a willingness to accept something that might be tough for us to hear. Perhaps their criticism is exactly what we need to hear to avoid disaster, regardless of how poorly delivered and harsh it may be. So the next time you run into a problem, finding yourself getting all worked up and offended over what another person has done, just take a moment to pause. Consider their past and what you know to be true about them. Allow that to influence how you're interpreting the current situation. Allow logic, rather than emotions, guide you to a better path to communication. Join me again next week as we look into the first of 4 practical tips on how you can improve your communication with others. Until then, have a great day and happy communicating.